There was a time when being a cowboy wasn't just a job, it was survival. Sun up to sundown, riding through dust storms, sleeping under the stars, and putting in work that'd break most men in half. Some folks think that life is gone. That cowboying is just a piece of history, locked away in old stories and black and white photos. But they couldn't be more wrong. The truth is, some of the hardest, toughest, most grueling jobs in the world, they still belong to cowboys. And today, we're talking about the toughest cowboy jobs that still exist. The kind of work that separates the weak from the willing, the soft from the strong. So if you think you're tough, stick around because these jobs don't just require muscle, they require grit. First on the list is the backbone of cowboy life, the cattle rancher. If you think ranching is just sitting on a horse, taking in the sunrise, you ain't never met a real cowboy. The truth, this job don't stop, ever. Calves need branding, fences need fixing, water troughs need checking. And if a storm rolls in, you best believe you're out there making sure your herd ain't scattered across half the county. You don't punch a clock, you don't get snow days. And if you're lucky, you might get to sit down for supper before the next crisis rolls in. Cattle ranching ain't for the faint of heart. It's for the kind of man who's built for long days and longer nights. There ain't a job more dangerous than tangling with a creature 10 times your size that don't want you anywhere near its back. That's the life of a horse breaker. Now, some horses are born gentle. Others, they'll fight you with everything they got. And if you're the poor soul tasked with getting that animal rideable, you better be ready for a few bruises, a few broken bones, and more than a few hard landings in the dirt. This ain't just about riding. It's about trust, patience, and knowing the difference between breaking a horse's spirit and earning its respect. You see, a real cowboy don't just tame a horse, he teaches it. And the ones who are good at it, they've earned every scar they got. Most folks don't think much about fences, but out here, a busted fence can mean hundreds of cattle lost, predators sneaking in, or a long day just getting longer. And guess what? Those fences don't stay fixed. Weather, time, and just plain bad luck will make sure there's always something that needs repairing. That's where the fence rider comes in. A cowboy whose job is simple. Ride the fence line, find the problems, and fix them before they become disasters. Sounds easy? Try doing it alone, in the dead of winter, miles away from the nearest warm fire. Try pounding posts in the heat of summer when the ground's so dry it might as well be rock. The world may not know your name, but if you're a fence rider, you're keeping the ranch from falling apart, one busted post at a time. There ain't many traditions left from the Old West that still look like they did back in the day, but branding cattle, that's one of them. And let me tell you, it's a job that'll test every ounce of your strength. It starts early, before the sun even cracks the horizon. The branding crew rounds up the calves, wrestles them down, and marks them before they head out to pasture. And if you're working the ropes, you better be quick, you better be strong, and you better know how to stay out of the way. Because when a 300-pound calf starts kicking, you will feel it. The heat from the branding iron, the dust in the air, the smell of burnt hair, and the sound of hooves hitting hard ground, it's all part of the job. And if you ain't built for it, you'll find out real quick. In the old days, cattle drives lasted for months, pushing herds across open plains, through rivers, over mountains, rain or shine. And guess what? In some places, that job still exists. If you're driving cattle through the backcountry, you ain't got no hotel, no grocery store, and no quick ride home. You're living out in the wild, cooking over an open fire, sleeping under the stars, and dealing with everything nature throws at you. Bears, wolves, floods, and the occasional horse that decides he don't like you no more. Most folks today wouldn't last a week out there. Cowboys, they make it look easy. Now, I ain't talking about the fellas who watch rodeos. I'm talking about the ones who strap themselves onto 2,000 pounds of pure muscle, adrenaline, and bad attitude and try to hold on for 8 seconds. Bull riding ain't a job for the sane, it's a job for the fearless. You don't just risk broken bones, You risk not getting up at all. But the ones who do it, they live for it. It ain't about money, fame, or trophies. It's about the rush. The split second between total control and total chaos. The dance between man and beast. You want to know what toughness looks like? Watch a cowboy get bucked off, slammed into the dirt, and then get right back up smiling. And now, we come to the toughest of them all. The storm riders. The ones who don't have the luxury of waiting out the weather. The ones who ride into the storm because they have to. Blizzards, floods, hurricanes, it don't matter. When cattle are in danger, when horses need rescuing, when the land is on the line, these cowboys go toward the danger, not away from it. They don't get days off. They don't get extra pay. They do it because if they don't, everything's lost. And that's cowboy grit in its purest form. So next time someone tells you cowboys are just a thing of the past, remind them that the toughest jobs in the world, the ones that still demand strength, courage, and grit, they belong to cowboys, and they always will. Now tell me, think you could handle one of these jobs? Let's hear it in the comments.